Hi, my name is Chris Colasso, and this is my personal story. I want to be rich. I want to be famous. I want to live in a mansion, and I want to drive a Ferrari. This is what I wrote down on a piece of paper at the age of 15. This was my goal, my dream, my definition of success. After writing it down, I then defined a clear path to turn my dream into reality. I would go to a good university or college, graduate, and then join a Fortune 500 company and work my way to the top to become CEO. There was no stopping me. And things were going to plan up until about 4.5 years after joining that Fortune 500 company. One morning, my alarm went off. Bzzz. After turning it off, instead of jumping out of bed into the shower like I normally did, I just lay there. I felt really tired, down, and so heavy. In fact, for the next few months, I was really unhappy going to work. Despite making good money and having lots of money, having a nice car, as well as a big screen TV and fashionable clothes, I was still unhappy. It didn't make a difference for me. When it came time to write down and type in my first performance review, I sat at my computer and made a decision to type the following words. Chris is not meeting expectations. Within weeks of typing those words, I had written myself out of my role and out of the company. The day after leaving the company, my alarm went off. Bzzz. I shut it off. When I woke up, I felt so light and so relieved and so free. I loved it. I wanted to experience that every single day. So I made a decision that day that I was going to start my own company. Now, I had no idea exactly what I was going to do, so I decided to take some time off and think about it. One morning, while sitting on my terrace and reading the paper, while enjoying my favorite breakfast of a bagel with scrambled eggs and cheddar cheese, together with a glass of freshly squeezed orange juice, I turned to the business section and saw a heading. It was about a story of a successful entrepreneur selling tires online. Before starting his company, he had traveled to Thailand to learn about meditation and Buddhism. In fact, he had spent time in a monastery. Immediately, a thought went into my head. If I want to be a successful entrepreneur, I better go to Thailand as well and learn about meditation and Buddhism. And I did. As part of my travels, I wanted to go hiking in the Himalayas, so I went to Kathmandu, Nepal. While staying at a guest house there, the owner suggested I visit a holy Buddhist site called Bodhanath. After doing a tour of the site, I sat down at a shop to enjoy a Fanta Orange. Now, at the table beside me were a group of monks talking and laughing away. One of them turned to me and said, "Hello, my name is Tenzin. What is your name?" After exchanging pleasantries, Tenzin proceeded to tell me about his life as a monk and how he had escaped from Tibet. After finishing our drinks, Tenzin offered, "Chris, would you like to go back to my guest house to learn more about my life as a monk and Buddhism?" "Sure, I would." And from there, we walked back to his guest house. As we entered the room that he shared with 5 other people, I was surprised. I thought I was going to be entering a prison cell. There were 4 gray walls, cement walls. There was one tiny window with 3 bars across it. It was the onset of winter, so the days were cold, and the nights even colder. As we walked over to Tenzin's bed and sat down on it, there were 2 thin blankets. I looked up above his bed and noticed a picture of the Dalai Lama. Tenzin saw this. "Chris, can I offer you this picture of His Holiness?" I made an excuse. There was no way I could take this one picture he had. "Thank you, Tenzin, but I really wouldn't have any room in my backpack." From there, Tenzin pulled away the covers to reveal a bag that was locked with his valuables inside. He unlocked it and pulled out a book. "Chris, can I share with you how I chant and pray every morning?" Sure you can. With that, Tenzin opened the book and looked down. He then started chanting in a similar way. Om Namah Shivaya. Almost immediately, my midsection started pounding. I had never experienced this at all, ever in my life. As I sat there in awe and just observed this man chant and pray, I had this wonderful, calm feeling inside of me. As Tenzin finished, he looked up and he said to me, Chris, I chant and pray every morning to help focus my mind and concentrate better. You should do the same. Oh no, I said. I don't even know Sanskrit. Tenzin reached into his bag and pulled out a book. Here, this book will help you to learn to read and write in Sanskrit. Oh no, I couldn't. I wouldn't know where to put it in my backpack. I don't have any room. From there, Tenzin and I walked to a tea house, and he offered me tea. Now, earlier in the day, Tenzin had told me that he only had 1,500 rupees in his backpack. And at the same time, his monthly rent was 1,500 rupees. So there was no way I could accept tea from him. Instead, I paid. Now, during tea, there was one question that kept on going over and over and over in my mind. How could a man with so little offer so much? So I decided to ask the question. And here's what his response was. Chris, money and physical possessions are not so important to me. What? I didn't believe him. That was until we walked back to the place where we met to part ways. Tenzin said to me, Chris, I'm not sure if we will ever meet again. I would like to offer you this ring so that you never forget me. Tenzin, you don't need to offer me a ring. I will never ever forget you or this day that we had together. I've had such a wonderful experience. It is in fact me who should be offering you a ring instead. And with that, we said our goodbyes. As I walked away, I had mixed feelings inside of me. On one side, I was really happy to have met and spent a day with a wonderful human being and learning from him. And at the same time, I felt really sad because I knew deep down I would never see Tenzin again. As I walked back to my guest house, I thought more and more about the 4 hours that I had spent with Tenzin that day. I'm not sure if he will ever know about the impact that he had on me. You see, he helped me to redefine success. In our society, we define success based on what we have or the titles that we have. Yet that isn't success. Success is not based on what we have. It is based on what we give. That's the reason why I had to leave my role. I was so focused on my goal of having a mansion, having that Ferrari, making lots of money, and being famous that I forgot what was most important and what made me happiness. And that was the opportunity to give. Give of myself to help others learn new knowledge and skills. And I wasn't doing that in my role. Today, I just happen to be a CEO of my own company. Now, I'm not a traditional CEO. For me, CEO stands for Chief Encouragement Officer. Each day, I train and work with people and help them discover new skills and talents. And when I do, I try to give my best so that they have 1/5 of the experience that I had with Tenzin that day. Thanks to Tenzin, I now understand what success is. You see, success is not what you have, it's what you give. It is only in giving that you realize how much you truly have. And that is my new definition of success.